Hello, I'm Alison Faison. I've been teaching Hatha Yoga for 13 years in San Francisco schools, gyms, and studios. I was trained by Tony Sanchez in the Hatha tradition, and we also practice the 84 classical asanas. I've also been trained by Britt Foreman in pre and postnatal yoga. Some of my teachers in San Francisco have been Rosemary Garrison, Tina Foster, and now Barbara Weichman. I look forward to doing a 60-minute practice. It's an open level practice, hatha, some vinyasa poses or postures, and then also offering modifications. I'm taking a moment to find a comfortable seated position, grounding the sit bones, floating the eyes closed, feeling the lift in the spine, crown of the head floating up toward the sky. And noticing the breath, the inhale through the nose and the exhale out through the nose. Creating space in the abdomen, around the organs, the back body. Noticing the normal breath of inhale and exhale. And each exhale, feeling a lift in the crown, lengthening through the spine and grounding down. And going ahead and flipping the palms, setting an intention if you would like to set an intention for the class. An intention might be non-judgment or desiring more energy, whatever it might be. And we'll revisit this at the end of the class. Continue to find a deeper breath, going ahead and placing the palms in Anjali Mudra next to the breastbone, lifting up through the spine and dropping the chin, and finding some pranayama. Prana being the breath that comes in through the belly, filled with life, and the yama, the breath that goes out, that expires. Filling in, inhaling about 6 counts, and then lifting, staying at that breath, and then exhaling down for 6 breaths. 6. Inhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, filling up the lungs, filling up the belly, pausing at the top, and then exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then going ahead and doing that with the hands on the knees, creating that space in the belly and getting a deeper breath. And if you'd like to do 8 counts, feel free to do that. So inhaling 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing at the top of the breath. And then exhaling 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And resuming back to that normal breath. Going ahead and interlacing the fingers, extending the arms out and dropping the shoulders down. And taking 2 breaths here. Feeling that space between the ears and the shoulders. Getting some energy as we drop down through the shoulder blades. And then coming back and just doing a little check-in with the body, warming up the fingertips, and going ahead and encouraging those muscles in the face to relax and to change focus. And so starting with the eyebrows, just a nice light pinch around the eyebrows, encouraging the muscles around the eyes to drop down the face, as well as the large muscle at the jaw hinge. Allowing that jaw to loosen and seeing if any other parts of the body accompany that loosening. Could possibly be the belly, could be the pelvic floor, could just be relaxation in the jaw. And then going ahead and taking a moment to do a little check-in with the nervous system. Effleurage can be helpful. It's a very light touch, just going down the arm and up the inner part of the arm. Just connecting in with the nerves in our body. We don't always have to do intense things to connect with that nervous system. And then going ahead and doing that on the other side. So coming down, again, it's called effleurage. And just using it to find a relaxation response, as well as from the hips, down the knees, connecting down to the ankles and the toes. Just a chance to connect with that whole subtle body. And then going ahead and drawing the hands to the heart, dropping the chin. Going ahead and opening the eyes and lifting the head. So going ahead, lifting up all the way, inhaling the arms, shrugging the shoulders, and then exhaling, dropping the shoulders down, bending the elbows. And really feel the shoulder blades sliding down as we're lifting up. Cinching the belt behind, or just taking it along the bra line or a mid-spine. Crossing the strap over in the front so we have a triangle space. Then going ahead and slipping the head underneath that triangle space and making a harness. So the cross would be in the back, and the loops are over the shoulders. So we feel this comfortable lift of the chest, the breastbone, sternum, and drawing down through the spine, and feeling the lift in the crown of the head, grounding into the earth with the sit bones. And we're resisting or pulling onto the strap. So just taking 3 breaths here, noticing how your posture might feel differently than what it normally feels. Or it might feel the same because you practice this often. So inhaling and exhaling the breath. Each exhale creating space in that shoulder girdle area. Opening the heart, feeling that connection to the heart, the receptivity. What do we want more of in our life? Energy, love, whatever it may be. I'm taking one more breath here. And slowly releasing the strap, the belt. Flipping it off to the side and just taking a moment to regain that posture. Seeing if the body will remember how it was lifted and how there was space between the ears and the shoulders. And this is so important. This is a preparation for any kind of flow, any kind of Hatha yoga where we are dropping the shoulders, creating space in the heart, and being able to move through. Let's go ahead and do some cat and cow working through the spine. So finding a comfortable position with knees supported on a blanket, or if you have a more flat bolster. So placing hands and knees on the floor, finding a neutral spine. A neutral spine just means we have our natural curves in our spine, but we want to keep that connection to the length in the spine. And shoulders are aligned over the hands, spreading the fingers wide and hips over the knees. And going ahead and exhaling on the rounding cat. And then returning back to the center and finding the cow pose. So our tailbone's going out, sit bones out toward the back, and then finding that neutral spine. Taking that 5 times, finding your own rhythm, inhaling and exhaling, making this more of a meditation or an internal connection. That breath, that prana coming in and that exhaling out. It's slow and it's meditative, and we're getting more circulation into the spine and the organs, etc. So once you've taken 4 or 5 breaths in the cycle there, going ahead and extending the right leg out, tucking the toes under, getting into the hamstrings, just waking up that part of the body today, and feeling that inner rotation where the thighs are rolling in and the heel is going out toward the outside of the mat. Feeling that length, engaging the muscles around the knees, and just taking a moment to connect with that. And going ahead and lifting up through that right heel, flexing the foot, and if you feel comfortable balancing, reaching out with the left hand, finding that neutral spine. Breathing here, lengthening. We're just playing with balance, the first balance of the day, inhaling and exhaling. Gathering some heat in the body, breathing through the breath, exhaling down. And finding a cat, exhaling, and a cow, doing the same thing on the other side. So extending out through the left heel, drawing the shoulders back, lengthening out, letting the hamstring on the left side open. And same thing, engaging through those muscles in the legs, spreading the toes wide, flexing the feet, finding that length, and then just adjusting, seeing if it's more of a cow in the spine, more lordosis-like, or is it kyphotic, like rounding. Finding that neutral space if you can. And then reaching out with the right hand, palm facing the midline, inside, reaching out. Keeping that balance, breathing here, gaining some heat on this side of the body. Imagining that the fingertips on the right go all the way. There's an energy going through those hands, through the shoulder, through the spine, all the way to that left foot. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Dropping it down. And let's go ahead and do a second set there. Extending out through the right, and then going ahead and bending the knee. So the knee is going a little bit toward midline again, flexing through the foot, and the thigh is parallel to the floor. This might be as far as you want to go. If that's not an option, then keeping the leg out or up. If you're here and you want to do a little twist, spinal twist of the day, then reaching out with the left, taking the hand back. This might be where you are, or trying to grab back toward the heel or the top of the foot, pant leg. Lots of different options there. Opening through the spine, feeling that lift, shoulder blades down, and feeling that resistance of the foot and the hand. Breathing for 3, 2. Opening through the left shoulder, 1. And slowly as you went into it, coming back down. Taking a nice breath here. Exhaling. Inhaling. Same thing on the other side. So with all of those modifications offered, you always have a choice in yoga. You never do or die. And bending the knee, finding that length, and then the length of the quadricep. And then the right hand out to the side, finding that balance, shifting the spine, whatever, you can find that neutral spine, and locating the back of that foot. Opening through the right shoulder. Finding that twist, drawing the knee closer toward the floor, and engaging there. Breathing here. For 3, the head could be down. It could be eventually looking out to the side if you don't have a neck issue. Breathing for 3. Dropping the knee, 2. And 1. Lengthening all the way back out. And a nice cat and cow again. Exhaling. And inhaling back. And of course, coming to child's pose. Child's pose is always an option in yoga. So you can take a wide knee child's pose if that's more comfortable. You can have 2 knees together, reaching out. We're going to do an active child's pose. If you have issues where it's difficult to sit back toward the legs, you can get a bolster or block or something in between the legs and the sit bones. Or just go to dolphin. So finding your modification for child's pose, finding that restorative connection. You can always use a block under the head. Dropping the shoulder blades down, allowing the body to soften, engaging through the hips, imagining the hips are spreading wide along that sacrum, or the hips are opening out to the side. Finding that place of rest. And then rolling through the spine, each vertebra stacking upon itself in the next one, and the head coming up last. So on your mat, facing forward, and then tucking the toes under. If you have a bolster, blanket, anything under your knees, you can go ahead and remove that. And tucking the toes, planting the hands into the floor, spreading the fingers wide, feeling the pads of the fingers engaging in the floor, tucking the toes under. And feet can be hip width apart, finding that length and checking into that belly area, lower back, and just seeing if it's rounding, if it's sagging, where is it going? What are we doing here? Pedaling the feet right and left, and right and left. Getting into those legs again. Second time that we're engaging in the hamstrings, etc. Then going ahead and getting deeper into that pose by bending both knees, sending the sit bones back. Allowing the front part of the body, shoulders to rotate in. So they're actually, elbows are rotating in and the shoulders are rotating out. And then lengthening the leg along the floor. Walking the hands back toward the feet and finding your forward fold. Lots of options here for forward fold. So one might be to use blocks. Feet are hip width apart. Or toes can be together, heels a little bit apart. Any level of the block is fine. Or if you're going toward the floor, bending the knees slightly so we have a micro bend and we're not locking out the knees. We can keep that circulation flowing. Dropping the head. Inhaling and exhaling the breath, spreading the toes wide. Each breath, just noticing what's going on in the back of the legs and seeing if things are lengthening and opening up with that exhale. If they're not, then we're just keep on breathing. No expectations. It just is the pose that it is right now. And going ahead and getting a little bit deeper. If your toes are together, then taking them out toward the sides. So feet are hip width apart. And we're going to go do another spinal twist here. So it's a forward fold spinal twist. Left hand onto the right, opening up through that wing again and bending through the left knee. So the right leg is extending and we're opening through the shoulders here. Since we've already done this, you might find that you want to lower the hand down, grabbing onto the opposite hip pocket. So we're taking the shoulder down, elbow back toward the back wall, lengthening here. It's kind of like a half bind. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly coming out of it the same way we went in. Inhaling the arm, exhaling back down. Letting the lungs equalize a little bit, going over to the other side. Lengthening, bending through the right, opening through the left. Finding that twist. Breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. And then going ahead and reaching all the way up and back down. And equalizing, dropping down a little bit deeper. And going ahead and placing the hands underneath. So you can be stepping on your palms, or if you'd like to get your body closer, you can go ahead and take those hands behind the heels, elbows back, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, dropping, connecting the body to the abdomen. If that may not be where you are today, just going ahead and connecting with the back of the legs and finding that the torso is trying to go closer to the legs. So wherever we are, we're getting the benefit of that forward fold. And then slowly walking back to downward dog. And finding plank. Lengthening through plank, finding the hands and connection. Firing up the legs, firing up the body, finding that mojo that connection to your inner life. So just playing also with the core muscles, seeing if the lower back and the abs are sinking lower or are they lifting higher, finding a happy medium there. A few more breaths. And then whenever you're ready, lowering the knees down for knees, chest, chin. So this is a modification you can always use if you're flowing through and you feel that you want to just slow down a bit or support your vinyasa. So going ahead and finding a few push-ups. So we're kind of like a half chaturanga here, drawing the elbows in toward the body, shoulders are hovering over the hands. Exhaling back. Just a little practice of feeling that lift instead of crashing down toward the earth. But we are going to go now toward the earth with the knees, chest, chin. So lowering down to the chin and the chest, sit bones in the air, and then exhaling down to cobra. Rolling the shoulder blades back, finding that length, squeezing the elbows in, and lengthening the head. Going ahead and giving yourself a rest. Left ear onto the hands, letting that whole body circulate the fresh oxygen and that compression. We just compressed in the lower spine, and now we're going ahead and allowing more oxygen and circulation to flow to that area, flow to the kidneys and other organs, even on the front part of the body where we're flowing. Coming back up and finding Sphinx pose, rolling the shoulders back, elbows underneath the shoulders. This is more of a abdominal opener rather than engaging too much in the lower back. It's just we are compressing, but more of a heart opener. Breathing here for 3, 2, feeling as though the fingers are sliding along the floor, and 1, unwrapping, hands in front, and the right ear to the side. And back to the center, and taking airplane pose. Inhaling, lengthening through the crown of the head, opening up, rolling the shoulders back like cobra, and lengthening out through the toes. You can separate the feet if you like, or keep the toes together, opening and lengthening, going to your connection, your edge, that place that feels really good to engage. Inhaling, lengthening out through the neck, long neck for 3, 2, and 1. Lowering back down, left ear. Allowing this to be a mini restorative posture. Finding the rise and fall of the breath in the back body. And then going ahead, returning back to cobra and back to the knees, finding plank. Lifting one foot, so going ahead and taking your right foot back, lengthening it out, finding that core strength for 3, 2, 1, coming back down, and on the other side, engaging through the left, and coming back down to the knees. And pushing back for dolphin pose, just releasing here through the hips, through the head. And inhaling back, tucking the toes under, sending the hips up, downward dog for 2 breaths. And then we're going to come up toward the top of the mat, however you get there. So bending the knees, looking forward, inhaling, exhaling, jumping, or stepping. forward with the right and left. Finding the length through the crown of the head. Exhaling back down. And reverse swan dive. So reaching out and inhaling all the way back up. And hands to the heart center. Anjali Mudra. Rolling the shoulders back. I'm going to go ahead and cycle through and do a little more of the warrior poses and some twists, and then some balancing and then relaxation. So inhaling, reaching all the way back up. Exhaling, forward fold. Lengthening out. Exhaling down. Stepping back. And going ahead and finding side plank. So bouncing onto the left leg. Even using your right hand to feel that connection, that support of the body. 2 feet are up, stacked up on top of each other, and reaching up one hand. So really feeling that core connection as though there's a string pulling it up toward the sky. If you practice modifications, bending the knee and seeing how that works, maybe even grabbing onto the toes. Extending the leg out, engaging here. Breathing for 3, 2, 1. Coming back down the same way. And going ahead and doing a little flow through chaturanga. Rolling through to upward dog. Exhaling back, downward dog. 5 breaths here. Feeling those heels spiraling out. Rotating through the shoulders. And then again, on the other side, side plank. So balancing the right leg or right hand into the floor, stacking the feet up on top of each other. If it's more helpful to have one foot in front of the other, we can do that. Finding that length, lifting up, helping yourself lift with that left hand. Finding the balance, engaging with that energy in the fingertips. Breathing for 3, 2, 1, and then finding a modification or staying there. Peace sign fingers into the toes. Engaging the leg out. Breathing for 3, 2, and if you fall out, no problem, coming back in. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Returning back, finding that chaturanga or knees touch chin or child's pose. Exhaling. Inhaling, opening through the heart. Bending the elbows. Exhaling back. Finding that connection, that restorative breath. Making this pose a restorative pose. And then lifting the right leg, inhaling. Exhaling, drawing in toward the nose. Inhaling. Exhaling out to the right elbow, hovering. Exhaling, crossing the body over to the left. Coming back. Drawing the knee in. Finding your runner's lunge. And then going ahead. Coming up for Warrior 1. Warrior 1 does not have to have a wide stance. So reaching up, hips are parallel to the wall that you're facing. Bending the elbows as much as you need to feel that dropping of the shoulders. And opening up Warrior 2 if you need to extend the stance, just so that the knee is lined up on the ankle. Reaching out, paying attention to that back hand even though we're not looking at it. Opening up through the palms, dropping the shoulders, extending out. Reverse warrior, peaceful warrior, opening up through that right side body, sitting down a little deeper. Going back to warrior two. Side angle. Hand can go straight up. This arm could be on the forearm, or we can go ahead and use a block and find that modification. Drawing that left shoulder back, rotating the navel toward the sky. It's on an axis, rotating out from the shoulder. Sitting down a little deeper, feeling that connection to the groin all the way down to the floor, outside of the foot. If you'd like to go ahead and bind, you can take the hand to the hip pocket, or this right hand can go underneath, left hand finding that bind there, rolling the shoulder back, left shoulder. And then looking forward, going ahead and drawing that left foot forward. And then if you can, going right into bird paradise. So balancing into the left leg if you're in the bind. If not, you can go ahead and still be in side angle. So finding that balance, spreading the toes wide, lengthening out through the right. And exhaling, coming down the same way you went in. If you want, you can unbind here, or go ahead and go back to that open space, unwrap, come back to warrior two. Cycle down, exhaling back, chaturanga, opening upward dog, exhaling back, 3 breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Finding that ujjayi breath on the back of the throat, that ocean sound or that tasting sound, like you're tasting a strawberry with your mouth closed. And then going ahead and lifting up, engaging and exhaling nose. And inhaling out to the side, to the left. Exhaling back, over to the right, crossing over the midline. Exhaling back. Drawing the knee in, finding that runner's lunge for a moment. Extending out through the back of the leg, engaging through those muscles. And then going ahead and shifting to warrior one. So shifting the stance, engaging, finding the hips right there, facing forward like headlights, dropping the shoulder down. And then opening up for warrior two. Reaching out, feeling that your mind is in that right hand. Even though we're not looking at it, we're not doing anything with it. Opening through the shoulders and exhaling back. Dropping back to reverse warrior, opening up through the left side body. Feeling the connection of the toes, the feet, the outer parts of the feet. Engaging down a little deeper into that lunge, just as long as the knee doesn't extend farther than the ankle. Exhaling back, warrior two. Finding side angle with whichever modification you like to do. Hand on the block, staying here for the rest of that other part of the series, or if you can bind or you like to bind, coming back, maybe staying in this half bind. Or finding a full bind. So the right hand going underneath the left, reaching up with that left hand, binding, rotating. The whole point here is just to rotate. We want to feel that spine. We want to feel the strength in the quadriceps and the strength in the leg. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Looking forward, going ahead and finding bird of paradise. So we're taking that right leg forward, balancing into the right, And with that strength of the leg, lifting the body. So we're not hoisting through the lower back. Finding the lift, the rolling the shoulders back. Finding your drishti, your focus, about 8 feet. Really nice and soft. No expectations here. Going ahead and lengthening out through the left. Opening through that leg, wherever you are. If you're not here, you're just getting great benefit from doing side angle. Either way. Breathing for 3, 2, 1. Slowly lowering the foot down. You can stay here and unwind, or go ahead and come back to that side angle. Unwinding the same way. Okay. Cycling through. Any modification, knees, chest, chin, child's pose. Exhaling back. And lengthening through the right. Opening through the hip. Extending up, rotating the navel up toward the sky. Looking underneath the right arm. Finding that connection. Opening through the body. And you can flip your dog if you do practice that. Otherwise, flipping dog just means opening through the back, reaching up through the spine, lengthening, and coming back the same way, flipping over, using that strength in the left leg, right leg comes down. Same thing on the other side, lifting the left, dropping the foot, looking underneath the left, lifting up through the knee, rotating and opening through the navel, finding that lift. Going ahead and flipping the dog if you like, turning the foot around, engaging and lifting up. And returning back, exhaling down, chin, chest, or if you'd like to go through chaturanga, flowing through, exhaling back. 3 breaths. Going ahead and bending the knees, looking forward, jumping forward, lengthening, exhaling down, and separating the heels so the toes are touching, getting ready for Utkatasana. So finding that space, reaching up, sitting back, awkward pose, Utkatasana.